While Landscape with Invisible Hands starts off strong when focused on humans dealing with an alien invasion and these two young people who are finding love amongst it, once the aliens become too prominent as part of the film, it's hard to maintain interest. To summarize the film, in the year 2033, aliens known as VUV come to Earth and decimate the planet. But unlike how most movies have it where aliens invade and destroy everything, there's no weapons involved. Instead, the VUV destroy Earth economically, and it makes it so when it comes to our lead character Adam's life, his mom goes from a doctor to trying to get a job at a food truck serving soup. And then when it comes to his love interest Chloe, her dad goes from an accountant to a bum who basically has his kids living in his car, and we don't even see him try to get a job or even like explore his prospects. But even though when it comes to Adam's mom Beth and Chloe's mom Mr. Marsh, who's not given a first name, while they're struggling, at the very least Beth is trying. And Chloe, she's trying too. As her and Adam begin to bond and form a relationship, she takes advantage of the fact that the VUV are very logical people, and so things like love, which isn't necessary because they produce asexually, they watch humans and pay humans in order to kind of, through a third party, experience it because they have these devices that allow them to not only see what the humans are going through, but to see the biology and maybe in some ways feel. But what leads to the film going to a terrible direction is after a certain point, as Beth starts to have issues with Mr. Marsh, it affects Adam and Chloe's relationship, and as that happens, the VUV start to realize, hey, you two are faking your relationship, and one decides to sue Adam and Chloe. But while Chloe is willing to seek out other relationships, Adam has other ideas of trying to avoid the lawsuit. And while Beth figures out a way, unfortunately, the decision not only about what she does but everything else, it just leads to the movie becoming such a drain to watch. So first highlight for us is that when it comes to Tiffany Haddish, probably one of the best performances we've seen from her in a while, and I would even say that this isn't necessarily like her moment like Jim Carrey or Eddie Murphy had, where you can really see that, oh, you could do dramatic as well as comedy. But I do think her taking a more serious side to what still is very much her stick and persona, it led to the idea that maybe she isn't one note and stuck in who she is. For the scene where she's talking to the verb that's trying to sue Adam and she's trying to appeal to it as a mother, that did something for me. It didn't make me cry or push me to think that, oh, she deserves an accolade, but it is one of those type of scenes which shows you Haddish's potential, and likely with the right casting and the right movie and the right writing and directing, she could really probably pull something off. I can't tell you when that may happen, especially with the strike going on, but I do think that this film presents the idea that she deserves a chance. The second highlight for us is the beginning when it's focused on Chloe and Adam's relationship. Because at that point, you can get into the chemistry between Adam and Chloe. Adam is somebody who's a bit closed off, especially after his father abandoned him, and from what it seems, he doesn't have friends. So Chloe being someone who is an outlet beyond Adam's drawing, you see something potentially beautiful there. And then when you add in that Adam is trying to be protective or some type of provider by kind of honestly coercing his mom to let Chloe's family stay with them, I won't say there's necessarily a good power balance, but you can see that both parties were getting something out of it. But then, of course, things went downhill, and once it went downhill, so did the movie. Yet, even with saying that, that's not the low point. The low point for us is that Adam's dad, who we're told disappeared to go off to California to try to make some kind of money since he didn't want to work with the VUV, he comes in about midway through the movie, and then he leaves. It's not explored what he was doing out there. He doesn't try to interact with Adam too much, or even Beth at all. Never mind Adam's sister, who doesn't really get much in the way of character development or story, hence why don't really talk about her. But it's just you see so much potential when it comes to what Adam's father could have came and brought to the film, especially at the point where his family was subject to the Veuve's whims, that him just showing up, then leaving abruptly, even though things were already bad at that point in the movie, once that happened, it seemed like nothing could save this film, and unfortunately nothing does. Which leads to the on-the-fence topic. And that is, halfway through the movie, the hook is gone, and you begin to check your watch. For as much as there seemed like there could have been something that could have been done, for as Beth made a negotiation with the Veuve that was suing Adam, there's an arrangement made. But the problem with that arrangement is, once that arrangement happens, everything that this film could have done, including Mr. Campbell, okay, Adam's dad, like really be part of it, it's just not explored. Even Chloe, who with Adam was like one of the original things that made this movie worth watching, she becomes relegated to just popping up every now and again just to remind you that she's around. And then to make matters worse, oh my god, her father, Mr. Marsh, and her brother Hunter, they become little bitches. And I mean, Mr. Marsh, he starts to really get angry, and between him and Hunter talking about the privilege that Adam and his mom have, and then that brings race into the situation, since it wasn't too long ago between when them being white would have been a privilege. The movie just goes places where I'm not gonna say that conversation about race and class couldn't have been interesting when it comes to this movie, but nothing is executed well once that initial hook is dropped. And unfortunately, I would even say, because this is based off of a book, I would even say that with any information that was missing, like we don't really learn too much about the Veuve. At least I didn't feel like I learned much about the Veuve. It doesn't really push you to want to look at the book for extra details. It just makes you want to just file this away as a movie you watched and likely will never try to watch again. Hence why, overall, when it comes to Landscape with the Invisible Hand, it wastes most of its potential and chemistry and just evolves into a very lame alien invasion film.